Hey guys, this is Eli, and welcome back to another episode of Eli's Kingdom. I hope everyone's doing pretty fantastic, and I just wanted to say that I know the past 2 episodes have been extremely redstone-y. I don't know if you guys enjoy that, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but just to vary things up a little bit, in today's episode we're going to do a lot more building styles, so probably not touch any redstone at all, although that may not be possible because you kind of have to touch redstone with everything, but yeah, we're going to do mostly building in today's episode just to be a bit different. But anyways, I've done some work between episodes, and as you can see, we now have a completely finished roof. And I'm really happy with this. You know, it's something that I'm not very good at. I've never really done roofs, and I don't really have much experience with that. So I really wanted to take the time to kind of educate myself, do a bit of YouTubing, see what other people have done, and really just come up with a design that I'm kind of happy with. And I think this looks really cool. I'm kind of happy with this. It's got plenty of details and dimension. I don't think it'll ever be perfect, but I really like the look of this. And of course, we've got a new window frame up here. I feel like this might be a bit too big. I don't know. It kind of takes up the whole wall. There is 2 smaller windows in the side as well, which we can't really see out of, but they do seem to let light in, which is pretty cool. On the outside, the roof kind of looks a bit terrible. You know, let's go take a look here. It's basically one giant mob spawner. It's not good at all. We did have 1 or 2 creepers actually spawning up here, and they managed to make their way down. I think they fell down a hole into the basement level, and there was 1 explosion, which, that was not good at all. That was really not good. But I don't think it's going to matter too much how this is going to look, because on the outside, I want to give this building basically a castle-like appearance. So I've already laid down the framework for where I think these walls are going to go, and these are going to be, I don't know what the actual technical name is, but they have these kind of turrets on the corners. So just kind of round bits that stick out. We're going to do a 1 on all 4 corners. And I think it's going to look pretty cool. I mean, castles are kind of tricky to do because if you actually do a Google image search for castles, you know, they're very detailed. They have lots of bits that stick out. They're often not very symmetrical. There's kind of 2 types of castles. There's the ones with the kind of jaggedy edge top, and then you have the ones which are more, you know, palace-like with huge pointy roofs and things. So I'm not too sure which one we're going to do. I think we'll maybe go for the pointy roof, but again, I have no experience with doing this. I have no experience with doing castles other than just kind of boring box-shaped castles, so this is going to be tricky for me to do, but I'm going to try my best with that one. But anyway, if you missed the last episode, we completely got everything in here finished. Everything should be wired up and working. We have our 6 bulk storage silos. We have dual super smelters, which are up here on these door frames. I think they look incredible. They just blend in naturally to the wall. You don't even know it's there. You have no idea that there's so much redstone and things behind it. It just works. I really like that. And then of course we have our hybrid of sorted and unsorted storage systems back here. So I think we have got 60 sorted chests and we got 20 unsorted. And then everything is hooked up to our central input, so we just throw whatever we want into this chest and it should just all get deposited in its correct place, including the kind of uncooked meats and raw iron ore and things. They all get sent up to the super smelter completely automatically, and then they'll get delivered into their corresponding chests. So we don't need to worry about anything. It's kind of like, it's basically the best storage room I think you can get. You know, it's just 1 input chest, throw everything in, don't touch anything, and it should just all work. Now, there's one thing we could do to make this slightly better, and I think I did mention this in a previous episode. We have these 2 bulk storage silos here, 1 for netherrack and 1 for sand. Now, these are things which we could theoretically melt down, so we could get nether bricks out of this and we could get some glass out of the sand. We could also do the cobblestone, turn that into stone, but to be honest, I don't think we're going to need to do that. We have plenty of stones, so I'm just going to leave that one for now. But anyway, to do this, you know, there's kind of a bunch of ways that we could, and I think my first thinking is that we could just have a lever or something, a lever or lever, whatever you want to call it, that we would flick and it would unlock a hopper, and then we would take, you know, items would start going through this hopper and we could just pass this up into our super smelter. Now, I'm not going to do that because it's kind of hideous. Like, having levers there don't really make any sense. They just look very ugly. And also, like, say if we wanted to do 3 stacks of netherrack, we'd have to flick this on and we would have to just wait for 3 stacks. So I don't think that's going to be very practical. So then I thought, well, how about using a button? We could actually hide the buttons in these pillars so we don't actually notice them that much. And I think it looks much better. You know, you're not going to see it unless you're actually looking for it. I guess we could put one on either side for symmetry, but you know, I think that's going to be fine. And then what I wanted to do was basically, say we want to smelt down 3 stacks of sand into glass, then what we would do is we come along here and we would just flick this button 3 times. And this would tell some kind of system, okay, we want 3 stacks. Now, if you'd asked me how to do this a couple episodes ago, I would not have a clue. I just wouldn't know what to do. But I think the circuit which we came up with for the dual super smelters, I think that's actually going to be applicable to this. Let's just go and take a look at this. Now, this is a really nice little circuit that we developed a couple episodes ago. It's basically an item counter. And yeah, it counts items as they go along. So we have a dropper here which has 9 netherrack inside it. This doesn't need to be netherrack, it can be anything. But what this will do is it will count 9 items that pass through this hopper line. And once the 9 items pass through, this torch turns on, which locks this hopper and it prevents everything or anything else from going through. So this was originally just for item packets, so we can send packets of 9 items. But we can actually just modify this to work for our storage silo. So we can basically set it up so we can pass 64 items, and then we'll somehow hook this up to buttons so we can tell it that 1 button press equals 1 stack of items. So I think it's doable. It's going to be a really big redstone project, which obviously we're not going to do in today's episode because I promised you guys we wouldn't do that. So I think I'll save that for a future episode. But anyway, in today's episode, I kind of have 2 things that I want to do. Now, the second one we'll do later on in the episode. You've probably already seen it from the thumbnail, but we're going to do something really cool with this mountain and with the AFK fishing farm. And yeah, I'll leave that one till later. But the first thing I want to do is, now that we have all this set up and we have our storage silo set up, we need to start filling these guys with items. And we have a beacon as well, which I've kind of been dying to do that beacon mining trick thing where you take the beacon down to bedrock, you set it up, and you can basically just mine out a huge area. You can get all the resources, you can get all the stone, cobblestone. We hopefully get some diamonds, we'll get plenty of redstone, lapis, just everything. So I really want to do that in the first half of today's episode. Now, one thing I do want to say is I really don't like to waste items. So I'm one of these players that if I see something on the ground like that, this drives me mad. I have to go collect it. I can't just leave it there to despawn. And I think it's probably from playing games like Mario and Zelda. I know in the Mario, like, you had to collect 100 coins to get a hidden star. And some of these levels, they just only had 100 coins in, so you had to just collect everything. So it's pretty much, I don't waste anything in Minecraft. So while we're doing the mining down by bedrock, obviously we're going to get full inventory very soon because we'll have the haste 2 beacon. We can just mine so much really fast. So in order to stop from wasting items, I want to set up an item elevator which will basically deliver items into this system here. So we can just pass it into our central input line. And that way we'll do some mining. When our inventory gets full, we just pop over, throw our items into a chest or something which gets passed up here. That way we don't need to worry about anything, it's just all set up. So let's go ahead and grab the beacon, head down to bedrock and get this all started. Okay guys, so the item elevator is now constructed, and I've gone with the design by ilmango, which is, I'm sure you guys have already seen it, but it's a really lovely simple design, really nice compressed redstone that just works efficiently. And yeah, this was the item elevator to replace the original one that used fence posts. This uses trapdoors, and it just works really well. I did have 1 or 2 problems where items actually got stuck in those stairs, so I don't know if that's a known problem with this elevator. I've only seen it happen once, so it might have just been a one-off, but I'm certainly going to keep an eye on that because we don't want to lose any diamonds or anything sending items up this. I've hooked this up to a dropper which is connected to my new favorite circuit, which is the burnout torch clock, so that should allow the dropper to rapidly fire. And then we've got a chest here connected to 2 hoppers just to allow a slightly faster extraction of items. And yeah, this thing's ridiculously fast. I love this. Let's just do a little check. So I've just put in 64 items and we can test to see if we get all items items delivered. I've also put the beacon down, which is about 50 blocks off in this direction. I just wanted to keep this separate to this, just so we got a lot of room to dig around. I think the end of the beacon range is somewhere around about here, so this is kind of perfect location. And our storage room is pretty much above us, just slightly off to the side, so it should be a nice simple circuit for this being in the right position. Now, let's just check that we got 64 items. Yeah, we do. Perfect. And I believe this doesn't all need to be glass. I've just put a bit of glass here for the viewing platform, but I'm going to fill the rest up with stone bricks, I think, and take this all the way to the surface. So let's do this now, and let's pop up there and hook up everything to our storage room. So this should be the spot where our items travel up the item elevator, and I've gone and connected this to a hopper line which just connects to our central input line. So this should allow all the items to distribute around our system, smelt if they need to be smelted, and go into their allocated chests. It's a bit of an eyesore at the moment, so I'll probably come back at some stage and either terraform or just replace this with a water stream or even one of our underground sewers, just to make it look a bit prettier. But anyways, let's pop into a third-person time-lapse. Let's head over to our beacon down at Bedrock and let's get started doing some mining. Okay, so I'm just taking a quick break because our input chest is pretty much backing up. There's not really much more we can do about this, and I think we're just mining too fast for this thing to keep up, so we may need to redesign this slightly just to come up with a better system or some faster way of delivering items. We may need to add more of these modules in place just to get this to work. I did actually see some items that were stuck as well, so I have to keep an eye on this just so we're not losing anything important. But I think we did pretty well. Look at this. This was about 15, maybe 20 minutes worth. This is huge. We did really good. Only came across about 2 diamond veins, I think, so it was maybe a little bit disappointing with the diamonds, but I'm sure there's a couple more hiding around. And of course, this is only the top level as well. I think we're at y equals 12 just now, so we need to take this all the way down to Bedrock, which is down on this level here, so I figured it was easier to start high up, because of course diamonds seem to spawn up to y equals 16, so it'd be easier to do it this way. But we got loads of redstone, we got loads of iron. I'm pretty sure there's ghost blocks everywhere as well, so I'm trying to keep my distance from those. I think we did really well. So for the next part of this episode, I would like to do some work in this area just here. Now to explain what I'm going to do, let's just go and take a look at my food chest over here. Now as you can see, we're running pretty low on food supplies. Barely have any steak, barely have any mutton or pork chops. The one thing we do have lots of, however, is the fish. And the main reason we have lots of fish is because we have our AFK fishing farm, which is inside this mountain. Now after I finish an AFK session, I typically go through all the chests. I'll pick out all the mending books, any other books which stand out, and I'll maybe grab a stack of the uncooked fish, and I'll have to carry it all the way back here and put them in the chests. Now, I don't mind doing that, it's not too much of a big deal, but in this kingdom, we want to automate everything. We don't want to have to lift a finger. We want all of the hard work to be done for us. So for that reason, I want to build a system inside this mountain, which is basically going to pick out the fish and automatically deliver into our storage system over here. And then at the same time, we can transport any other items like the mending books, any other things which stand out. We don't want to have to carry them over here. We can just pop them in a chest or something, and they should automatically get delivered to here. So I said in the past that I wanted to build a sewer between the mountain and here, which will basically be a water stream that transports the items. Now I still do want to do a network of sewers because I think that's going to look really cool. However, sewers are a bit more of an urban thing, between between two buildings. Because we have mountain here, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to build an aqueduct coming from the mountain. Now, I personally love aqueducts. I think they're awesome. They look really pretty. I love the fact that they transport water, or they're supposed to transport water from mountains to towns or villages. And we can use that to transport items as well. So let's pop into a testing world and check this out. So this is the design I've come up with, and I think I actually did this way back in episode 4 or 5, so I've been sitting on this for quite some time, but I think this looks really cool. It's got this nice hybrid of the stone bricks and the dark oak wood, and I think this is going to tie in with the castle theme as well on our storage room. I think it's going to look really nice. So yeah, we have the water which is in the center, and then we have these water streams which kind of peek at the sides, just giving the illusion that this is actually an aqueduct, and it has these little channels of water coming out because we have so much water up here. Now, it does actually have a redstone light in the center, which is something I really wanted to do, and this is actually attached to a daylight sensor, so that when we switch to nighttime, you'll see that this thing actually turns on, and this has a fantastic glow to it at nighttime. You know, it looks really cool, so I think this is going to look amazing when we see it from a distance. Just pop this back to the daytime as well, then that light should turn off. Now, unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to be able to do this, because in order to have a daylight sensor, we have to have glass on top. This doesn't seem to work when we have water on top, even though water is a transparent block. So unfortunately, we can't do that. We can't have our water streams pass around the sides as well, because there's a chance we'll get items kind of stuck on this block. So I don't want to take any risks, you know, I don't want to lose any items. So I've done a little bit of a redesign, and I've had to take out the daylight sensor. We still have a light, but I've just powered it with a redstone block on top. So that's going to be powered pretty much all the time. And then we can have our water streams in the center now, which deliver the items. They just hit these half slabs and then just continue all the way down the line. So I think this is going to look really cool. I guess the only downside is we have this light on 24/7, which is something I really don't like doing, because to me that's a waste of energy. You know, in our kingdom, we're very energy efficient. We're very conservative. We want to not waste anything that we don't need to. So unfortunately, that's something we're not going to be able to get around with, but I'm really happy with this design. I think it looks fantastic. So let's pop back into the kingdom, and I'd love to break into another third-person time-lapse and get started on building this aqueduct. And we are back. I really hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse. It was a lot of fun to make, and I love playing with shaders as well. It's a shame we can't really do daily episodes with shaders. They're just a bit too unplayable, I think, but it just makes everything look so incredible, and I'm so happy with this. I just think this aqueduct looks amazing. It came out exactly as I'd hoped. Really happy with it. It's a perfect kind of level of color. We got the red for the redstone, we got the blue water, we got the gray. I just think it looks really good. Down here we've got a note block, which is our drain, so I guess that's to suck in all the water. And yeah, I really like this. I think at some point in the maybe between episodes I'll come in and I'll just detail this a bit more and replace some of these blocks with the cracked stone bricks and then add in a couple vines and things. And definitely in the next episode we need to hook up the water streams up to the AFK fishing farm, and we can potentially take items out of the XP farm as well, so any bones and things we can probably drain them into this system as well. Oh, it looks so good. I'm really happy with this. The one thing I really wish we could change was trying to get this daylight sensor to work, because it is a bit of a shame that these lights are just on during the day. I wish there was a way to do that. I might actually spend some time off camera just playing with many different techniques to see if I can figure out how to do this, but I just don't think it's possible with this current design. But yeah, this is going to be one of our little entrances to the kingdom as well. This whole aqueduct is almost a bit like a wall or a boundary, so everything on this side is kind of our forest where we got all the mobs and things that spawn, and then we got safety on this side, which is going to be, all of our buildings and things for the kingdom. So we'll have this whole area probably be lit up, and then everything the other side will be quite dark and dingy. And yeah, for the moment, for the water stream, I've actually just channeled it down this little hole here, down one of these little jets of waters into this pool. And I thought we could actually just pass the items down here. I could probably hide in a couple hoppers down there, and we can just connect the hoppers to this hopper line, and it should just be a nice temporary solution to get the items into our storage room. I don't think this is going to stay here permanently. I don't really want too many hoppers around because they'll just add lag to the system, so I do want to try and use water streams as much as possible. So I think at some point we'll actually have a water stream that takes everything in here. But yeah, I'm not too sure how to do that. I mean, we could add more aqueducts around, we could extend this, we could have a whole network of aqueducts that kind of go around the kingdom, maybe take water from different mountains, certainly be delivering water around. So yeah, that's one idea. Another idea is we could connect this to the sewer system, although I'm not too sure why you would pass fresh water into a sewer system. Maybe it's not a sewer system, maybe it's more like an underground canal or something. I really don't know, but yeah, we'll have to come up with something pretty cool in the next few episodes. These little kind of canals, by the way, the tunnels and our underground sewers, I really do want to keep them quite dark and dingy, and I'm actually, okay with having a couple of mobs in there, because I think it's going to be really authentic if you peek down and you see a creeper off at the end of this canal, and it's one of these areas where you have to go in with a sword. You wouldn't be able to go in otherwise because there would be mobs around. So I think that's going to keep it really authentic and just keep it quite kind of eerie and scary. You see a creeper off in the distance, you think, oh, I've got to go kill that guy. I think that could be really cool. But unfortunately, that is all we have time for in this episode. It has been quite a long one for me. This did take quite some time to do, but it's a lot of fun. It really is. And yeah, just one thing to point out. I am actually heading on holiday this weekend. I'm off to Portugal for a week, and then I have a weekend in London as well, so I should be back sometime just after a week. I did try and backlog an episode, but it's not quite finished, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I don't like releasing things until, in my eyes, they're perfect anyway, so unfortunately there just wasn't enough time to do that, so there should be about a 2-week wait for the next episode. Hopefully you guys will stick around though. I really do appreciate your support, and let me know what you thought of this episode and what you think of the aqueduct. Do you like these building style episodes? Do you prefer the redstone? Do you like 50-50? I'd love to do more of these time lapses, but they are very time consuming, so I think we'll probably try and do a big time lapse like this one, maybe every 5 or 10 episodes, because they are really, really cool. I do love them. It's just a shame they take such a long time to do. But as always, guys, if you did enjoy this episode, giving me a like would be really appreciated, and if you haven't already, then please do subscribe. I've been Eli, thanks for watching.